Hey, everybody, and welcome to another day of 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and as you see behind me, we have a fun show for you tonight. I've got two guests who've never met before, but now they're meeting for the first time and doing my show together. First, it's MeeChee Hazen. How are you doing, MeeChee?
I'm good. Hey, everybody.
And we also got Dustin Hubbard. How are you doing, Dustin?
I'm good. Surviving.
Wow, you sound and you look just like what I had to watch with this movie. You know,
I feel it. I'm still feeling it.
oh man, that sucks. That's terrible. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about. So this movie that we're talking about is Blood Claws, and I don't know if it had another name or not, because I know Wild Eye likes to change names around, or whatnot. And it seems like it might have had a different name at some point. And then when they did like the Raw and whatever thing that they do for, because you, Dustin, you've had films gone through Wild Eye, and actually, like Canimator was a Raw and what is it, Raw and
Extreme, yeah. I have two movies I produced through Wild Eye, Like Animator and Ouija Mummy, and they re-released Like Animator under the Wild and Extreme sub-label. With this movie, the sad thing is I can probably give you more backstory to this movie than I would prefer to admit. It was originally produced, I believe, for a company called Nemesis Video.
I saw that. It was on the...
And
it's on the, what is it? That's what it's
distributed
called.
to VHS.
Okay. So, hey, are you there? Crap. Shit. Of course. It's going to be happening right now.
Recording in progress.
Hey, sorry about that. It just literally kicked me off and shit. So, sorry.
You froze up.
I know. And you guys did too. So you're saying backstory. That's what I got. And that there's more than you like to admit, and then it just froze up on me.
Okay, yeah. So this movie was originally produced for a company called Nemesis Video, which is a company that distributes through Store Envy. They most notably distribute VHS releases of a couple newer films here and there, but mostly bootleg re-releases. I believe they're fairly dead now. I think their Store Envy doesn't exist anymore. One of the guys who was behind it passed a few years ago. But this was one of a handful of movies that Dustin Ferguson made that was distributed exclusively onto VHS through them. This shockumentary and both of his first two Amityville films. So they came out on DVD, and then recently a lot of that older stuff from, the 6-7 years ago type of era for him have been resurfacing onto DVD. This one actually was originally called Blood Claws, but some of those older films have been released to DVD recently, and they have been retitled. This was just not one of them. So
I guess they like that. They like this one,
They like to lie on the box too, because the box for this movie says it's 70 minutes and it's actually about 54.
Yeah, actually it's about 49. With credits,
when you cut the credits off. So.
Yeah, which according to IMDb, 45 minutes is a feture. Anything less than 45 minutes is a short. So
most film festivals will deem, up to 45 minutes or longer a feature. So, which is weird to me. So
I know, I think it just keeps getting shorter and shorter because people are just they're not putting out full length movies anymore.
When we distributed through Wild Eye, they had it listed on their website that most distributors will have a runtime minimum, because they want things that run a certain length. Even as a producer, I tend to have a specific mindset on how long I want things to be.
Mm-hmm.
How long I don't want them to be. I don't always, it's not always successful, obviously. But you know what? When we delivered both Like Animator and Ouija Mummy to them, they had no issues with the fact they were below their minimum, and this movie is definitely even below what we delivered. So
Yeah.
and they don't care. So I think it's just product. So
MeeChee, was this the first shorter movie I've ever showed you?
Yes, actually, everything else has been like full length features.
At least an hour and 10 minutes.
At least. Yes.
At least, and so this is like I remember you messaging me going, this is really short, but it's a good thing, because I don't think I could have taken it much longer than its length as is. Like it should have been even shorter. Well, and let's get into it. So the biggest problem with the movie is the pacing and the fact that there's so many people that die in this movie that you don't even know who they are. You don't get to meet them. They're just
not characters. There are no real characters in this movie. There's just bodies that move around. They say some stuff. Like, this movie is a movie in the loosest sense of the term, in that it has moving images and sound, and it's pasted together into a moderate running time. There's no plot whatsoever, though. There's
no character development, nothing.
Yeah, there's no three act structure to anything. It's just a couple scenes strung together, no real characters. Our fake lead character is that like animal specialist, whatever you want to call him, the ranger dude, or but he's only in like 3 or 4 scenes, and he doesn't even seem like he wants to participate. He's just like, oh, I guess I am the specialist or whatever.
Yeah, he says that line. He says like, I guess I'm the only specialist in town, and I'm like thinking, okay, like,
yeah, that's why you're the specialist. So
yeah,
it's like,
shouldn't you be doing your job?
He's like he's like the fake character, the fake lead, because he's kind of who we open it with and who we end it with, but he doesn't really do anything. He just
not till the end of the movie, not till
he talks on the phone. He goes to like a quote unquote, attack scene, to see a dead body or two, and then he just shoots the cat at the end off camera, and it's just over. Like, he does nothing. Like,
he absolutely does nothing, and
he does not do as much action-packed stuff as what a lot of the other quote unquote characters do, because most of the other people, they just walk. They walk through scenes, or they sit and they're like, yeah, and they jam out to the Dragon's Claw at the park club, or they sit in the car and they're like, yeah, I love Dirty D's rap. I'm gonna sit and jam out to the director's rap alter ego. This is great. Okay, I guess I'll get out of the car and get eaten off camera by a panther.
Yeah,
we're too cheap to even have any kind of special effect to cheat something on camera with the actors.
Or after that chick left the bar, they listened to that band for a while. I was wondering how long they were going to show the band.
Oh yeah, no,
that's the highlight. That's the best part of the movie, is like Dragon's Claw performing.
Yeah,
I like that band. I actually like the music. Yeah,
band,
I was jamming. I'm like,
if Dustin had made that movie all about that band, I would have been okay. If it was all just a music video, I would have been okay with it.
They've supplied music to other movies of his. I believe they had music in the first Meat Hook Massacre, and I think they actually performed the main theme to Camp Blood 4, which is actually the only highlight of that movie. So
I think I have 1 or 2 Camp Bloods in my queue.
If you have 4 and 5, those are the Dustin Ferguson ones.
Okay, I'll look out for those.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah, just proceed with caution, because they're. I mean, and
so
look.
Yeah, after she left that bar, she gets in the car and then switches to a whole different genre of music, right?
Yep.
Was I hearing something, or did you hear her fuel? The fuel light comes on or something, and it goes ding, ding, ding. Did you guys hear that? Like, no fuel?
Yeah, she was having some kind of car trouble because she had to get out of the car to get eaten.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I thought it was like low fuel, or she was running out of gas, because I think that's what they flashed to, or something. And then she's like, ah, not again, right? And then
Not
she
again.
gets out.
I
Yeah,
forgot to put gas in the tank again.
she gets out. She opens the hood and looks in. I'm like, if you're out of fuel, why are you looking?
Yeah.
It's like,
There was
and
some.
how many people I don't have flashlight in my car. How many people actually have flashlights in their car?
I don't. That's
Mm.
probably something you should have, but most people don't. You know, like, I mean, I don't know. It's funny, but
I
what
should. I should.
were you gonna say, Dustin? Seemed like you were gonna say something.
No, I'm just still stunned at the level of film quality.
Yeah.
That's something that's very bothersome too. Is there's a lot of these movies that the entire movie has like this like shitty grindhouse filter put over it, so there's no genuine clear shot in the whole movie.
Mm.
Right.
Now, the beginning I thought was pretty cool because it had the old like projection film type,
Yeah.
going on.
The grindhouse
And
feel.
oh, okay, that's what it is. I'm learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the beginning. I'm like, okay, maybe there's a little bit of a backstory, because of the filter and all that.
Nope.
No. And then it just
Negative.
cuts to regular, and I was like, okay. And it was like
Yeah.
shaky.
Everything became just kind of boring after that stuff, like it just I don't know, just not
I fell
my kind of
asleep.
thing. You fell asleep. Oh, she said that. I bet you wish you could have fell asleep, Dustin, when you watched it.
Yeah, admittedly, this was probably like the third or fourth time I've seen this movie, so clearly I hate myself.
Hey, I only picked it because you suggested it for some reason.
And
I
only
think
watched it because Moody suggested it.
so there you go. There's a chain of suggestion there.
Domino effect of just bad
Thanks, Dustin.
decisions.
I mean, I'm guessing you picked it because it's one of those movies that it's not well made, and there's so much you can learn from this of what not to do, as a filmmaker.
It's just one of those things where it's like, like I said before, there's nothing here. There's no characters. There's the most bare bones semblance of a story. There's just, I don't know. I know that people involved put effort into these things, apparently.
Yeah.
Which
but
I can appreciate that they tried and everything.
Yeah, I just don't see it. It's not on camera to me, and it just feels like a waste of 55 minutes of my life.
Well, if you watch MeeChee, if you watch most of Dustin Ferguson's movies, a lot of it is, people dying randomly, like with no character development. Off camera kills. A lot of it is people walking constantly.
Lots of walking, lots of shopping.
They used to have a video store that that I think Dustin ran, that he owned, that he would have his actors inside the video store just renting movies, but taking 20 minutes to pick a movie, and just like you're watching real life, which admittedly that sounds boring as hell, that's
not cinematic. It's not cinematic. It's not exciting or interesting. I don't want to watch you and it's not in this movie, but in some of the other ones, I don't want to watch girls stand there and do their makeup for 5 to 8 minutes. I don't want to watch someone walk for 10 minutes, to the video store or to the flea market and then shop and then walk back. So it's I would rather just be shopping than watching other people shop. And those are major remarks of a lot of these kinds of movies. This is just extended walking and shopping and dancing, and
it's just like, okay, so
B-roll type stuff.
there's a guy on YouTube that I love who his thing used to be, that he would buy something, and he would review something, right? He would buy and review, different things or whatever. What?
Like lots of walking from the beginning to the end of the destination.
Yes.
There's the one scene where the girl like walks forever and then she gets to like a little pond area where the fish are, and then she sits and she starts doing whatever she's doing in her notebook, and she does that for a couple of minutes and then she walks away. It's like it's just a nothing scene. It's a running time pattern is all it is. It's just, that's the thing, is movies like this, it's just
get attacked.
Oh, not in broad daylight. Not in broad daylight. You got to be able to hide it in like the dark with a grindhouse filter.
The scene with the little girl, and she's like swinging, and then all of a sudden she's like knocked off the thing or whatever. And then I thought they would just not show her, like she got like taken away by the Panther or something. No, they show her there, and she has no blood on her, and she doesn't even look like, she just looks like she's laying down, like she was told just lie down there. It's just
oh my
terrible.
God, did I sleep through that part?
You probably did.
It's fairly early in the movie though. It's like, it's amazing to think that literally somewhere between like 8 to 10 people die in this movie. But it's like, because when I watch movies, like horror movies, I always keep like a mental body count in my head. And every kill in this movie is just so forgettable because they're not real characters, so I don't remember the people. And then there's nothing unique about the death because it's just like some lame off camera like and then you see like blood get thrown on the ground or something,
or that's perfectly placed on their face.
Like, and I know for a fact the director doesn't like to do like gore effects and that kind of stuff, so there's not a lot of that kind of stuff in these movies for him.
Well, I was excited when Moody's like, okay, the movie's gonna be blood claws, and I'm like, ooh, okay.
That sounds a lot more fun than it was.
Yeah, I went to IMDb, I looked at it, and I saw the star rating, and I was like, oh no.
Sucked all the fun out of a promising premise.
Well, I mean, okay, here's my thing. If you're gonna do a movie about a killer panther, do a movie about a killer panther, don't do a movie about a bunch of people walking around and you see them dying off screen, like that just, it takes the fun out of doing a movie about a killer panther, like if you can't afford to have a real, like obviously you can't have a real panther on an indie set like that. So you have to get a CGI panther or a person in a panther costume.
Or just pay someone to make like a prop head or something that you can like use even like a hand puppet and just bite someone with it, like so that something actually happens to like an actor on camera for a payoff. But there's no payoffs. It's just
might end up getting one of those little puppets from like Mr. Rogers' little imaginary world, little tiger.
You know what? Don't say this in front of the other Dustin, because he might actually take that into a movie or whatever.
I have produced movies with legit hand puppets. But you know what?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with hand puppets or anything like that. I'm just,
I mean, even here's the thing. Even if it looks cheap and shitty, at least it feels like some kind of effort was put into it, whether it looks good or not,
Well, I mean, and this, Dustin, but like Dustin Ferguson generally makes things in like 3 to 5 days, or whatever, like really quick. So he's
you're being generous with that estimate, but okay.
2 to 3 days. And then he wants to like, and then he just does it. He rushes it, and it comes out because he wants to make the next movie, And instead he should take his time making something decent, or whatever, but he doesn't want to, That's up to him, man. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, it's very much a quantity over quality.
Yep. He's just like, okay, I got a movie done. Here it is. And then people are like, oh my God, this is terrible. except the cast and crew who you keep just using, you know, who are just like, this is wonderful.
They praise it. Like, yeah, this is so amazing. Woo, I'm so excited and proud. And it's like, well, I'm glad that you are. Because you know what? Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, and I'll be as liberal about this as possible. Like, at the end of the day, you know, because I've produced some bad movies in my day. I'm not gonna lie, they're not all masterpieces, you know, but like, as long as the people who did it like are happy with it, I guess that's all that matters, you know.
Right.
It's like they accomplish something, they have their name up on something, you know.
Reviews are like, you know, reviews are opinions. Everyone's got one. At the end of the day, like I've learned, and I try to impress this on filmmakers I work with, like reviews don't matter. You know, it just means people are like, we watched this movie to review it. You know what I mean? We watched it. So you know what? Like the trick of having made it worked because we watched it. So that's the hardest part. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter whether people think something's good or not. If they think it's good, right on for them. I'm happy for them. I do not think that this movie is good. I don't think there's really anything good about it, truthfully.
No, I think it was a rush job. I think I almost feel like he should sort of be embarrassed to put it out publicly, but he's not going to be because he's not that kind of person, you know? Like he's gonna make this movie, and then he's gonna say, "Well, what did you make? What have you made? Like, how many movies have you made? You know, I've made this many." I'm like, I would rather make one good movie or something that I'm proud of like that than do. But see, the problem is he's proud of all these, so like, all right.
And that's the thing. Like the internet made it very much, you know, like. I think it might have been Kevin Smith who said something to the effect back in the day that, like, you know, the internet and IMDb and all that stuff, it kind of gave everyone the opportunity to be a critic, you know, and which is true. But it comes down to the, you know, oh, well, you think this sucks, you know, well, what have you made? You know, could you do better? Well, I have made movies, and I know for a fact that many of them are better than this movie. So
I haven't made any movies unless they're like live videos on Facebook and on my TikTok. I've done a couple of little short videos. You know, I think Moody has seen a couple of them.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in the middle of writing a story, writing a book actually. Sorry, and it's not that difficult to write character development, you know. And watching this movie, I was like, I don't know.
Honestly,
I did like a few parts of it though. I have to be honest. I did like a few parts, like when the Panther was walking. Panther, the red eyes.
Oh, the Panther vision.
Yeah, the Panther vision is like the cameraman did move somewhat like a cat would, looking around a lot, you know, here and there, the low growl in the back. And it's, I mean, a cat, when he's focused, will stare at the prey. But if it's just walking around hunting, it's going to look around, you know. And I thought that was pretty cool to be in that perspective of the cat.
I think Ferguson did the camera work. So are you saying that he's a better Panther than he is a director?
I'm saying the cat vision was okay, was great. And Dustin, if you're watching this, you did great on that.
There you go. There you go. That's one very positive, you know, thing. Like probably the nicest thing will be said tonight. But all right, what was the next thing?
There is nothing else.
Oh, I thought you liked the music thing, but that was cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
music,
band.
the band.
The band was pretty awesome. They sounded great.
Dragon's Claw is the best thing about this to me. Like I'm always in the mood to hear some Dragon's Claw, but unfortunately they don't always end up with their music in the best films. So
yeah, well, you know, it happens.
Yeah,
y'all watching this, look up the band. You know, and in the movie, the way they had the band going from here to there and shot to shot, and then the view from the guitar, you know, of him when he's playing the riffs, was like that's pretty cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the band was just great.
So,
I don't see the significance of them in the movie.
Yeah,
It's just
there
other
is.
than the fact that they were in the bar with
I I
the
think that
people.
Ferguson has directed music videos for them. I think that's what the association is with the band. So I think he's shot some stuff for them and directed some videos for them. So they lend him music and I guess, made an appearance.
Well, that was
there you go.
nice of
No,
them.
no, no. Yeah. So one hand washes the other.
Washes the blood off, huh?
What blood? What blood?
The blood that was
Raspberry
on the
sauce.
guy's face at the end of the movie, that was the only blood you ever really see, and after he shot that panther from like 80 feet away or whatever, and the blood I just somehow magically flew onto his face, which we never see because I don't even know I forgot what we cut to, but then all of a sudden we cut back and he's got blood on him. It's just some of those things just made me go, ugh. I and I felt sorry for the actors because, like, look, a lot of the people who acted in this movie are probably friends of his, who wanted to act. I'm friends with one of them, and I love her to death. And I don't even remember who she played. Jenny, do you remember who Jenny played in the movie? Like, it was just so you just could not.
She was the student.
But which
The one that she was the one that walked to the pond, wrote a few notes, and then walked away. And then she went home to feed her dog those 3 little morsels.
Oh,
That was her.
okay.
And then she went to take her dog for a walk, and she was attacked because the first one that was attacked was that woman who went out to look for her cat.
The cat. Yeah, there was like the cat lady, and then I feel
Jenny
like
was the little dog lady.
and then maybe like the garden lady died, and then like the little girl died.
See, I totally missed the little girl.
And then
like,
the
I
dog,
think I
and then
slept
the
through
dog girl, and then I don't know, the dude in the alley or something.
Yeah,
Jesus
with the
Christ.
beer in his
Yeah,
pocket.
and then
He
and
pulls
then
out
the
that
no,
whole
and
bottle of beer.
yeah, and then the no gas girl, and then I think some other random.
Well, she didn't die. She didn't die. I don't think she got hurt. The no gas girl, and then
everything happens on camera, so it's hard to tell.
Well, no. I'm just saying because the hitchhiker guy or whatever, the guy just ran up to her and was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like thinking too, she looks like she's dead, and then she's not dead, So she starts talking to him, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
The sad thing to me is like with a lot of the people that are in these movies, and I am familiar with like 2 people that acted in this movie. But a lot of the people that act in these movies, it's hard for me to keep any of them straight or know who they are because of the fact that they're like playing cutouts of people. They're not playing real characters. There's weird camera work and filters over stuff, so it's hard for me to have recognition with some of these performers. So I don't learn who like I know a lot of the names, but I don't it doesn't click in my head who some of these people are just because there's not enough visual stimulation to like actually make me remember their faces.
Well, they're also not on the screen in enough time for you to like really get to know or even think about who these people are. Like, literally, if MeeChee hadn't said that Jenny was the girl walking around and everything, and I wouldn't have I just wouldn't have thought about that. I totally forgot. I almost forgot about that scene. The scene was so.
Again? Who was that again?
Jenny Caroline.
The student by the pond.
That's a name I know. She's been in a lot of his movies since the beginning. I could not pick her out of a crowd.
I'm friends with her. I've had her on my podcast before, and I love her to death.
I was friends with the girl who ran out of gas, but she defriended me.
Well, sorry about that.
Very pretty, though.
Which I assume was a calculated move. So
it happens. I guess it's about that time to get to the rating of this movie. And I don't know what everybody's gonna think. So I'm gonna explain to everybody. We do the Stinkometer this year on 31 Days of Indie Horror. We don't normally do that, but we've decided to do it this year because we decided we're gonna do too much shit. So let's put one more thing on there. So we decided to I started to do the Stinkometer on here. The Stinkometer rating is a 1 to 10, 1 being a good movie, if it was a great movie that you loved and enjoyed, 10 being very, very stinky and bad. Also, you could give a 0.5 if you feel like it's maybe between like 5 and 6 or something, you give it a 5.5. Just depends on how you're feeling. I'm gonna go right off the bat and just say this is a 10 to me. This is probably the first 10 I've given on 31 days so far, and this movie is just too slow, too boring, not enough character, all the things we pretty much said. I think about that. So I guess who wants to go next? I will, MeeChee, how about you?
Okay. Well, I said my piece. I've said some of the things I didn't like and a couple of things I did like the Panther Vision and the band. So I'm gonna say 8.5.
8.5. All
Yeah,
right.
because of those aspects right there. Everything
Wow.
else,
There you go.
yeah.
All right. Well, what about you, Dustin?
There's just nothing for me to grasp onto with this movie. Watching it again was hard.
Still as painful.
It was hard. It's a hard view, honestly. There's, like I said, there's nothing here for me. I pretty much said I think my piece. It's, and like I said, it's not hot garbage. It's just dull, cold garbage to me. It's just, there's just nothing there. And I love the Dragon's Claw, but unfortunately for me, they couldn't
save it.
They couldn't they couldn't pique my interest and really hook me. Honestly, for me, it's a 10. At this point, I've watched it again. I've reviewed it with you guys. I never need to watch it again.
Until somebody else makes you watch it.
No, I'll say no then. I'll say refer to this.
You guys are making me look like a softie, giving it an 8.5 rating.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we get it. You haven't watched enough Dustin Ferguson movies before, then you'll know sort of which, kind of thing. So
maybe I will put myself through that and look up a couple more of his movies and see what I can
compare
luck. It to.
There's a bunch more of them on Tubi that you can find. So
a lot of people actually say some of his Amityville movies are not great, but they're not like 10 worthy, kind of thing. They're a lot better than, some of the stuff, but like, yeah. I've heard that. I've heard some people say that. Like,
have you seen either one of them, Moody?
I have. I've seen, I forgot which one it was. Which one had Jade and Tony in it?
They were in Amityville Legacy. Which ended up being acquired by Wild Eye, and then they recut it and added some additional footage and retitled it Amityville Toy Box.
Toy Box. Okay, so I've seen Toy Box.
But they chose to release it after its sequel, which they recut and retitled Amityville Clown House. So, which was originally shot as Amityville Evil Never Dies, which I have seen the original version of that, and the original cut of Amityville Evil Never Dies actually makes Blood Claws seem like a masterpiece.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Oh, I gotta watch that.
So I saw Toy Box, and I actually thought it was okay. It had moments that were okay. It wasn't, I think, and that was funny because that was my first introduction to Dustin. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, wow, that's not terrible. Like, this isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. And now, I never saw it. I think I was gonna watch Evil Never Dies, and I started watching it. And I had to turn it off. You know,
Yeah, I've
because
not seen the new one, Amityville in the Hood.
I came across that and I was like, wow. I almost put it in my queue too.
Well, I'm glad.
Almost.
Honestly,
I
it
saw
looks a
like
lot
so
more.
many other Amityvilles. I'm like, is
And
this about the house or is this just something totally completely different?
yeah, that's a whole other rabbit hole of crap to crawl down, is like fake Amityville movies.
Yeah. Well,
But for the record, honestly, the In the Hood one actually doesn't look as bad as what I thought the first two are. It actually looks amusingly dumb. So,
well, and that's sort of, I guess, the point, right? Is because if
which
you're gonna
is
have a title like In the Hood, you got to go a little bit like
it's
that.
like Amityville's already a place, so how can it be in the hood? So, like, how can it be
Well,
in space?
from what I've understood is like if you have something from there, you know, like an object or something that was in the house, you know, that you could bring it into the hood and it can
Yeah, but
possess people or whatever.
they're like growing weed in the Amityville house now in that one.
No,
They're what?
that's
They're like growing weed in the Amityville house, I believe.
Sounds like my
okay.
hometown.
Yeah, sounds
Cali.
pretty. Yeah, that sounds. Hey, it's filmed in California. I think the Amityville in the Hood.
Oh, do you know what city? Oxnard?
I think it was supposed to be Compton, I think, and I'm just like,
Probably.
there's no way they shot it in Compton.
No, absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not.
No camera equipment would be
Yeah,
safe.
you would not want to bring your camera equipment out to Compton.
Yeah, if
They
you don't live there, you don't want to walk there.
oh, I've never even gone there when I was in LA because I was just like, you know, I've heard too many horror stories, you know, and stuff, and I don't know. No,
Okay,
no.
look. The courthouse in Compton has a chain link fence around it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you.
That's funny.
I was like, what is this big building with a chain link fence? And my friend's like, well, that's the courthouse. I'm like, well, at least they put the parking spots inside the fence, you know?
There you go.
I was like, dang. I didn't even want to walk around to see how you entered. I'm like, I don't even know why we were in Compton. I don't know. I think it's
Sometimes you
for
just
left
drive to
turn.
Compton, you know.
Yeah, because it's a bright sunny day.
Yeah,
We didn't
it's just
drive there. We didn't just drive there when I was visiting. So
The
well,
smog in LA just lifted, and you can see. Oh, look, let's go to
oh, we're in
Compton
Compton
today.
now.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's funny. I knew of Compton. I was happy. I was in like San Gabriel, which is right by Pasadena, and I was just like, I'm happy. Like there were, I mean, there've been bad stuff happening there, but like not really around where I was at, you know.
Well, that's
And
good.
yeah, I was very happy about that. No drama, you know.
That's good.
No shootings and shit
Oh,
that I
really?
knew of. Yeah, not where I was around, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
But we were sort of in Chinatown, you know.
Because I
Area
got so
like
used to going to sleep. If I didn't hear a siren, then I couldn't
right.
sleep. Seriously.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you guys so much for this. You guys stick around and hang out, but everybody else, thank you guys for checking this out and join us tomorrow for a whole new episode. I don't even know which one we're doing yet, but I'm doing yet, but these two may be back at some point for other episodes, so I really appreciate it. It will not be like Blood Claws 2 or something, but you know, I don't think they'll make a Blood Claws 2, I hope. But anyway,
If it
thank
does, you
you.
know I have to watch it.
You have to. I mean, and Dustin will have to watch it because he's a completist. He's gotta.
I'm not gonna lie. I own the Nemesis VHS of this, and I do actually own the Wild Eye DVD. So
Yeah, you're a completist like me. You're just like me. If I have it, I need the sequel or whatever. You know, even if it's
Yeah, Blood
crappy.
Claws 2.
Yep.
The kitten's revenge.
Bloodier
God.
Claws.
Bloodier Claws. Oh God. Well, you know, if they put more blood in it, they can actually call it that. You know.
And actually show some claws.
This should have been called Bloodless Claws, but all right. You know,
Clawless blood.
clawless blood. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for checking this out, and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.